5 days ago, Charlie Kirk was assassinated at a university in Utah. Now, I know the media and YouTube like to downplay it or make it seem like, oh, hey, maybe he shouldn't have picked the career that he did, or maybe he shouldn't have debated people if they didn't like what he had to say. But they could also walk away from him. Like, they could have just left it be. If you don't like what he's saying, just walk away. What about the people that want to go pick a fight with him? What about the people that be going on his, show and shit, or when he's out in public and they be saying some disrespectful, hateful stuff, but y'all don't want to talk about that. But the minute he be saying the truth about black people, or the minute he be saying the truth, y'all want to call him a racist or a homophobe or some shit like that, And then you guys over here laughing and saying he deserved to die. Bottom line, at the end of the day, he was somebody's fucking kid. He was somebody's fucking husband, father, son. Like, come on. Like, nobody deserves that. Y'all are closer to Hitler than he ever was. Y'all want to fucking say fascism and say all this stuff about Charlie, say how much you hate him and this, but you guys be spewing hatred and fucking bigotry and fucking all kinds of vicious shit that probably Hitler would have done. You guys are closer to Hitler than he ever could have been. He's just a dude saying what he believes. You don't agree? Move on. You can debate respectfully. You guys may not be able to come with a consensus. You guys may not be able to agree. That's okay. Say it with peace and move on. And when he brings up facts, you guys don't even know what to say. You guys look there all stupid, And I liked him. I liked watching him. I didn't agree with every single thing, but about 80 to 90% of the stuff that he said, I agreed with 100%, even though it was 80, 90%. But you know what I mean? I think it's just sad that we live in a country where, people just want to fight or kill people all because they don't agree with the same thing. I've had family members not talk to me. I've had family members, cut people off because why? Because they voted for Kamala, they voted for Trump. Who cares who you vote for? That's what you believe in? Okay, leave it at that. We'll debate, and if we don't come to an agreement, all right. I still respect you as a human being. I'm not going to shoot you, But I noticed that this is becoming a trend with the left. They can't really back up with what they want to say, so they want to resort to violence, or they want to resort to yelling louder than you, or they want to resort to being disrespectful or make fun of you, and then they all round up together and say that you're racist. And then you can't say anything because the way the world is, you'll get canceled because the world is in their favor. More so not the world, but I guess the country or the government. Because if I was to go say something to somebody from the trans community, I'm probably gonna get canceled before they get canceled. You know what I mean? Or if somebody if a trans person came up to me and says some wild shit to me, they won't get canceled. You know what I mean? Same thing with a black person. Like a black person can go up to a white person and completely mistreat them, and nobody will say shit. But if you say anything like, "Oh, a nigga just stole a car and he took the car and smashed it into a fucking school," no, we can't touch that subject because he was mentally ill or he a drug addict and the drugs made him do it, not because the nigga did it. You know what I mean? That's what happened with George Floyd, or George Fentanyl or whatever we call him, because he wasn't a good dude. But they revered him and respected him and gave him a gold casket even after he put a gun up to a pregnant lady's stomach. And they burned up the whole country for that. Charlie Kirk, a dude, said some controversial things, but genuinely was a good dude. He cared about his family. He loved his wife. He loved his kids. He was just a very, 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 very conservative guy. He believed in that shit, and rightfully so. He's an American man. That's what our country's built on. Believe in what you believe in, fight in what you believe in, And he would just debate with people, and unfortunately, we don't live in a country that does that anymore. We live in a country where you have to shut the fuck up and conform to the other side, and if you say anything, you're canceled. So I think it's just a sad day for America, and it's a sad day for the Kirk family, and it's a sad day for people who loved Charlie Kirk, and I loved him. I really wanted to meet him, and I feel very, very, very distraught and upset about it because I wanted to meet him. I would love to talk to a guy like that. He seemed very insightful. He seemed very full of wisdom. He really cared about the young people, and that's what made me gravitate towards him, because he cared about the young people. You Democrats don't give a shit about us. You make fun of us and make us look all stupid and want us to fucking buy your taste the motherfucking rainbow Skittle flags and conform to your shit. You know, that doesn't appeal to me. Not that I'm against it. You guys can do whatever you want. I don't really give a shit. You know, I mean, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not going to go around the gay pride parade and cause some havoc. No, that's your right. That's your right. The freedom to protest and say what you want. But when you become violent and start shooting people and showing your private parts in front of children and saying how gay is the way, it becomes a little bit more controversial than some nigga just going up to college campuses and just saying, what is a woman? You know what I mean? But if I say stuff like this, I'm a bigot or I'm an Uncle Tom or some bullshit, you know, and it doesn't faze me because I know it's all bullshit, you know, but rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I feel genuinely sad about this. Condolences to his wife, condolences to his kids. It's a shame. It's a shame. They do not have their father no more. And for what? It wasn't like Charlie Kirk was killing anybody. It wasn't like Charlie Kirk was being, you know, just selling drugs. It wasn't like Charlie Kirk didn't deserve this. Nobody, no regular human being deserves this. Unless they're a Hitler, unless they're like some fucking evil person, some evil, genuinely evil person, and they've shown to be evil. Of course, death will teach them. But some regular guy on a college campus, come on, y'all. Stop making fun of him. Imagine if his kids grow up and see this shit. They're going to be distraught. Be like, damn, a lot of people hate my dad. You know, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. His wife, she's mourning. She will never see that man again. It's imagine if somebody shot your husband or shot your wife or shot your kid. How would you feel? You know, and it was for nothing, because I feel like if it was a liberal doing what Charlie Kirk did, it would have blown up more. The news media would feel more sad. The news media would actually care about it. Nobody would disregard. Like, literally, they just say Charlie Kirk passed away. He didn't pass away. He got shot. He got assassinated. This was cold-blooded murder. You know, it's just unfortunate that, you know, it just sucks. You know, because in this day and age, people like that, they just don't give a fuck. But if it was just some fucking fentanyl-laced bum on the street, y'all would be burning up cities and saying how white people are the worst thing to ever happen to mankind. It would be all kinds of shit. Nobody burned a city up for Charlie. Nobody did all that shit. He died. They let him rest. Now everybody has to deal with the fact that somebody's gone over nothing. I genuinely fear for the lives of Officer Tatum. I genuinely fear for Candace Owens. I fear for Matt Walsh, Benny, all those good, well, conservative people. I feel bad. I genuinely fear for them because I don't want this to happen again. But it's going to happen again because that's how they process things. You know, that's how they think. Oh, if I can't defend them in mouth, I'll just beat the shit out of them. And then that makes me think that I'm a winner. When it's not the case. You just proved their point. But I don't know. It's a sad day. It's a very sad day. And I genuinely love that man. Heaven has gained another angel. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I wish I could have met you. I really wish. You were one of the people I looked up to, especially in my life. I didn't really have a father figure like that. I didn't really have anybody to learn any good values from. I kind of just went through life, and I'm still learning. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm not using it as an excuse. You know, I went through life. It was hell. You know, it's still hell. But hell is only if you want it to be hell. You gotta rise above hell or stay in hell. And, you know, I'm trying so hard to crawl out. I've fallen into hell. I'm still in the lava pits, bro, but I'm trying to swim out. And seeing somebody like that die, especially somebody who used to be my feed all the fucking time. And he's not on my feed a lot. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And to see him gone and knowing that he will never come back and knowing that he was killed, it just all the more reason why it hurts my heart even more. And I feel genuinely sorry for his family and condolences. I really wanted to meet him, but, you know, I thank God for the others. You know, Matt Walsh, Officer Tatum, all of them addressing this and, you know, giving kind words to the community, giving kind words and, you know, lifting up those who are upset and saddened and traumatized by this. Because this is a traumatizing experience. You know, imagine the people who were there. I wasn't even there. And imagine, this is kind of sad to me. Imagine the people who actually witnessed it right there firsthand. That's fucked up. You know, so not only did you fucking eliminate somebody's fucking loved one, you just traumatized thousands of people. You know, that's fucked. And everybody over here saying, oh, don't give him the death penalty. No, that's fucked up. He killed somebody. And nobody gives a shit until it happens to their own family. You know, I bet if somebody shot up your fucking loved one, you wouldn't be saying, oh, I don't want them to get the death penalty. I would want that person to get the death penalties for them to feel what I'm feeling. You know, sometimes prison ain't just enough. And I know people can call me a savage and rude and horrible, but that's just the truth of life. You know, in the animal kingdom, if you kill somebody, if you kill an animal, the other one will come after you. That's just how it is. That's just life. You know, if you want to be good, you be good. This wouldn't have happened if that nigga didn't shoot up Charlie for no reason. There would be no controversy about a death penalty or any of that shit, you know? But I don't know. Y'all let fucking the dude who bombed up Boston live, so I'm not surprised that y'all want to still fight against that shit. So it is what it is, y'all. It's just sad. It is just a very, very sad day, and I'm heartbroken by it. I didn't even make a video about it because I didn't even know what to fucking say. You know, I wanted to make a video about it the minute I found out. I thought it was a crude joke. I thought it was a sick joke made by leftists or just a joke. But nah, it's real. That's just life. It's just sad. That's all. That's all I want to say. I'm just really saddened by it. And again, condolences. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace and condolences to all those affected by this horrible, horrible incident.